Exodus 20, verse 16, God continues this beautiful conversation that he's having with his bride as he begins to show them what it looks like for them to live in his kingdom, what it looks like for them to belong to the royal family, especially because Israel just came out of a very dysfunctional and abusive relationship. They were treated as slaves. They were treated as orphans, as those who do not belong, as those who are just existing in a land, but nobody really wants them. They're only good for one thing and one thing alone. And once they are no longer good for that, then they mean nothing and they're useless. And so this is the kind of perspective that the people of God came from. And here in this wilderness, God met with them and began to show them that they are so different because he has called them and he has chosen them to be his holy people, to be the people that will represent to all the other nations what it looks like for a people to belong to the living God, the God of Israel, the God of the heavens and the earth. And it's so beautiful that he begins to teach them the basic foundations of what it means to live in his lifestyle, to love God with all and to love your neighbor as yourself. And verse 16, he continues, you shall not give a false testimony against your neighbor. This is part of learning how to love your neighbor as yourself, which we have been learning this entire week. And I think this is so crucial for us to learn not to give false testimony. What is a false testimony? A false testimony, it's an inaccurate testimony. It is an eyewitness, but it is a biased eyewitness. It is an eyewitness given from your own filter. But what would it look like for us to begin to give the right testimony, the true testimony, which is the view that is unbiased, which is the view that comes from the Creator God himself, because he sees us very differently than we see us. He sees others very differently from the way we see others. He sees the people that we don't like with the eyes of love, unlike the way we see people that we don't like, period. And I think there is a learning curve, there is a growing in the love and the perspective of God as we begin to look at our neighbors. Maybe we need to stop looking at our neighbors as our enemies. That will be an amazing place to start. Maybe we need to stop looking at our neighbors as those who are nuisances, those annoyance and irritations in our lives that we just want to get rid of as quickly as possible. What would it look like for us to begin to look at them through the eyes and the perspective of God, that they are created in his image, they are a gift on this earth that he has created specifically for your growth also, for my growth also. And I think this is very, very crucial. And what would it look like for us to begin to give a true testimony, to speak into them what God thinks about them, to begin to speak life into their dead situations, to begin to declare light in the middle of their darkness. I think this is very, very powerful. So instead of coming against, we have to learn to be for our neighbors, because this is what it means to be a good neighbor. A good neighbor is a good witness. So how can you be a good witness to your neighbors around you today?